Hey, Gavox here. So we have our first patch of MLB The Show 20. So let's get to it. It's kind of a minor patch, which is okay, I think. It is early on in the year. I don't think we should have any gameplay patches yet, as we haven't really experienced the game too much. I've been playing mostly on, or I think all on All-Star difficulty, which I think is a little too random at the moment. It's paying off people too easily for like random hits, and it's not paying off some. We're getting some good okay inside the PCI. But let's go through the fixes that are going to come in this patch that should be launching exactly when this video launches. So as you see, it says it's deploying at 3 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm going to try and match mine up to that, right? So that would be 4, 5, 6 Eastern. Maybe I'll launch it a couple hours after that. So this already came on. This is what we're downloading. But let's talk about it, all right? Fixed an issue in Diamond Dynasty that would prevent putting starting pitchers into the game after using all relievers. I think this is, if there was an issue, if you already use relievers and then you're like, oh no, I don't have any pitchers left, you can use your starters, right? I think it's an awesome thing, the energy system this year that they've implemented into the game, where basically your pitcher's energy carries over game to game, kind of like, so you can choose your starter. It really helps you for like kind of bullpen management too. We've had energy in bullpen, so I do like that it is on the starters this year too, and you can use them in relief if you need a little bit more of a longer outing too. You can kind of get them warmed up and ready to go. So you won't be able to don't have to burn your bullpen. You can actually use a second starter. And it also really helps with like, later on, like I can imagine like with the amount of rage quits maybe early on in ranked season and some, events or BR, that helps, and you can kind of like use a lot of the same pitchers. That's kind of, I don't think that's a negative. I actually kind of like that, the ability to kind of like, save you, basically if you destroy somebody and they quit, that kind of like carries over on into the next game of like, okay, maybe that next game will be a sweat. We'll have to like use up all my bullpen, and they're just like tearing through them, and they won't really last very long. So I do like that ability for the energy to carry over and stuff from game to game. So they did fix that issue, but remove the guest pitch option from Diamond Dynasty. Really big oversight on their part to leave that in the first place. You're able to like basically go into game and then you were able to turn guest pitch on. So I don't think guest pitch should really be even the game at all. But hopefully it doesn't go into any events this year. Hopefully, I just didn't like that event last year. I get it. Some people like different kind of gameplay, and I do like different kind of gameplay. I can see the value in that, and I do like that. But man, I don't like guest pitch at all. But you know what? Maybe for one event, sure, guest pitch. I'll concede to the people that may like that. I don't know anybody like that, but I'm sure there are people out there that like it. So I'm glad that it's gone. They fixed that. Again, this is like, it's not like a gameplay issue, but it is a gameplay issue. But this is I think a great fix, and something right that shouldn't have been overlooked at launch. So fixed an issue where the home run display was sticking on screen. Cool. Like I really like that bug fixes are here. Like I talked about, no gameplay fixes, is like no changing the meta at all. But bug fixes are happening, so that's nice. Get the bugs out of the way first month, and then kind of like once we've experienced the game quite a bit, then start maybe updating the meta, because power is crazy right now. But we're on All-Star, so that's probably part of it. Adjusted CPU pickoff rate in training modes. Yeah, it was kind of crazy in like practice builds where they just kind of keep throwing over. You wouldn't take extra leads and be like, all right, let me just go back to the base. I'll just stand on the base. Just stop picking me off. Just deliver the ball to home plate, please. But then the Under Armour rival eyewear will not show when equipped. I believe they fixed an issue with that. But that's kind of how I interpret that last sentence. So cool, kind of minor. Miscellaneous, fixed alternate Toronto Blue Jays uniform, updated all 30 MLB team mugshot images from 2020 spring training. So that's nice that players kind of now are more accurate to their mugshot images. Fixed various crash fixes. Neat, right? I think I disconnected out of, I think, one game so far where I was, no, it's happened multiple times. Actually, multiple times I've crashed out of games. Twice that I remember off the top of my head, maybe a third time, but twice for sure. Where like they were leading and I had the last at bat and then I lost. It was only an event game, so it's not that big of a deal to take the L for DCs. But man, DC losses are super frustrating. So I'm just glad it hasn't happened to me in ranked season yet. But that did happen to me in events a couple times. So hopefully they're updating and fixing those crash issues, and they keep up or solve them all. That'd be kind of neat. Improvements made to online stability and connectivity probably goes along with a little bit of that crash issue. But then more polish and tuning for opening day. I don't know what that means, and I'm not a huge fan of it, because if you recall one of our first patches last year, you know, they talked about not having any gameplay updates, and then like Ramon came on and said, oh, we changed a little bit of timing window on very late hits and stuff. It's like, wait, they actually changed some gameplay mechanics, but they didn't put it in the patch notes. So it's frustrating for them to say like these catch-alls, right? I'm fine with catch-alls like improvements made to online stability to like kind of stop, you know, crashes or disconnects, that kind of stuff. That's kind of like good enough. We don't need as much detail on that. But stuff like more polish and tuning, like what kind of tuning are they doing? Like sliders, like it's just so strange that I had that catch-all and just kind of not like explain out what that all means, because it does make me fearful of them doing some behind the scenes gameplay tuning, and now it plays differently. Now it's more frustrating, and we've seen that in the past with MLB Show and a lot of other games with patch issues that we kind of find out like, hey, that wasn't mentioned in the notes, but this changed. So this has gone live. Let me know what you guys think. How are you liking MLB The Show this year? I think the things that need to be fixed still, there's still some wonkiness with outfielders. So when a ball goes off a wall and you preload a throw, sometimes you have to hit the button again for them to actually throw the ball. So preloads, they messed up. Outfielders, I noticed sometimes have some issues, you know, animating for balls. I don't think outfielders are like responsive enough to the joystick either. Like if you move the joystick slightly, they like, it takes a second, and then they run like 5 feet. So like, I need like human joystick, right, from the Madden game over on these outfielders to make them more kind of like responsive to the left stick, so I can kind of move them where I want. Because it's just silly how like it's so dramatic when like say the ball goes off the wall, you're like, all right, let me get in a good position, and then you kind of try to like micro move them, and then they just like move 5 feet, and the ball goes past you, and it's just so frustrating. So it's like, I guess you gotta let the computer take it over for that or something. But yeah, so like, a little bit more outfield control would be nice. Animate better, that kind of stuff. The other issue, like I said, the ball seems, you know, ball's like near the middle of your PCI and it says good, okay. I was like, wait a second, why is that a good? Why doesn't it get better kind of bounce off the bat? Why isn't that being rewarded? And then like balls out of the zone, I don't think perfect should be there out of the zone. Like if that doesn't really reward user skill, if you perfect a ball out of the zone, right? You just slam it to one edge and you hope to get the timing right. So I don't think swinging at balls should be rewarded with perfects. I think that should change. Let me know what you guys think about that change. Inside the zone, I love perfects. So the ball seems to fly out of the zone quite a bit. I've seen a lot of people swinging at balls above their head and getting rewarded with hits. So hopefully they can knock down the reward for bad swings, and the kind of like balls that are outside the PCI should not be rewarded with hits at all. Like that should be pop-ups. That should be like ground outs, dribblers, that kind of stuff, for stuff that like just the PCI doesn't touch. I've hit a home run with Eddie Matthews where my PCI missed it, and I realized maybe the pitcher confidence was a little low on that one. And pitcher confidence, I do think, plays way too much of a factor in this game too. That and stamina. Maybe, you know, the per nines don't seem like that big of a deal. Like good pitchers, I'm just go for like control and pitch mix right now, because per nines don't seem to matter with just every pitch being like basically a home run or you know, kind of getting out. So it's kind of back to 18 right now. Hopefully they look at all-star difficulty and they don't just kind of like, they can leave the other two alone because we haven't touched them. But that's kind of my feedback. What do you guys think about the patch, how the game plays so far and everything? That's it for this video. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I'll see you tomorrow.